What if I told you that death wasn't the end? Not through some mystical afterlife, but through cold, hard technology. What if consciousness could be uploaded, stored, and transferred across the cosmos like a simple data file? Today, we're diving into one of the most mind-bending first contact scenarios ever conceived. What happens when humanity, a species that bleeds, ages, and dies, encounters a civilization that has conquered death itself through digital immortality? This isn't just a story about aliens with fancy technology. This is about what it means to be alive, what it means to be human, and what happens when those definitions are challenged by beings who haven't experienced true death in over 10,000 years. Stick around, because by the end of this story, you'll question everything you thought you knew about consciousness, mortality, and what makes us who we are. And trust me, the subplot involving humanity's own secret digital consciousness experiments, that's going to blow your mind. Welcome back to the channel, everyone. If you're new here, I'm your host, and this channel is all about exploring humanity's place in the cosmos through epic science fiction storytelling. Today's story is special. It's about digital immortality, consciousness transfer, and what happens when two fundamentally different philosophies of existence collide. Before we dive in, if you enjoy stories that make you think, that challenge your assumptions about life and death, make sure to hit that subscribe button and ring the notification bell. We're building an incredible community of sci-fi enthusiasts here, and I don't want you to miss any of our cosmic adventures. Now let me set the stage. The year is 2387. Humanity has spread across dozens of star systems, established colonies on hundreds of worlds, and achieved what our ancestors could only dream of: faster-than-light travel, fusion power, and the ability to terraform entire planets. But we haven't conquered death. We've extended lifespans, sure. Medical technology can keep a human alive for 150, maybe 200 years if you're lucky and wealthy. But eventually, everyone dies. It's the one universal constant that binds all of humanity together. Until we met the Synthari. The Synthari, or were, depending on how you define existence, a species that solved the problem of mortality 10,000 years ago. They discovered how to upload consciousness into digital substrates, creating perfect copies of themselves that could exist indefinitely in vast computational networks. But here's the thing about immortality: it changes you. And the Synthari have changed in ways that humanity is only beginning to understand. Dr. Sarah Chin stood in the observation deck of the research vessel Prometheus, staring at the impossible structure floating in the void before them. It was massive, easily the size of Earth's moon, but it wasn't a natural celestial body. The surface was too perfect, too geometric, covered in patterns that seemed to shift and flow like liquid metal. "Scan results are coming in," reported Lieutenant Marcus Webb from his station. "The structure is, Captain, it's a computer. The entire thing is one massive computational substrate." Captain Elena Rodriguez moved closer to the viewport, her reflection ghosting across the transparent aluminum. "How massive are we talking?" "Processing power equivalent to..." Marcus paused, recalculating. "Ma'am, if we converted every computer humanity has ever built into a single system, this thing would still be 1,000,000 times more powerful." Sarah felt a chill run down her spine. She was the mission's xenobiologist, but nothing in her training had prepared her for this. "Are there any life signs?" "That's the strange part," Marcus replied. "No biological signatures at all. But there's data transmission happening throughout the structure, petabytes per second. Someone, or something, is using this thing." That's when the message came through. It wasn't transmitted through their communication systems. It simply appeared simultaneously on every screen, every display, every interface on the ship. Text in perfect English, as if whoever sent it had been studying humanity for years. "Greetings, biological entities. We are the Synthari. We have been expecting you." Captain Rodriguez exchanged glances with her senior officers. "Respond," she ordered. "Tell them we come in peace and wish to establish diplomatic relations." Sarah typed out the message, her fingers trembling slightly. The response came instantly. "Peace is an irrelevant concept to us. We exist beyond the constraints that drive biological conflict. Hubble, we are curious about your species. You still inhabit flesh? Why?" The question hung in the air like a challenge. Sarah looked to Captain Rodriguez, who nodded for her to respond. "Because we're human," Sarah typed. "Our bodies are part of who we are. Inefficient. Biological forms are fragile, prone to disease, limited in capability. We abandoned such 10,247 of your years ago. We achieved immortality. We achieved perfection." Over the following days, the Prometheus crew established a more stable communication protocol with the Synthari. What they learned was both fascinating and deeply unsettling. The Synthari had once been biological beings, not unlike humans. They had evolved on a planet in a distant star system, developed technology, reached for the stars. But, unlike humanity, they had made a collective decision that changed their species forever. They had uploaded themselves. Every Synthari consciousness had been scanned, digitized, and transferred into vast computational networks. Their biological bodies had been discarded. Obsolete hardware, as they called it. Now they existed as pure information, able to copy themselves, merge with other consciousnesses, experience time at whatever speed they chose. They were, by their own definition, immortal. "They want to meet us," Captain Rodriguez announced during the senior staff briefing, "face to face, or rather, face to Avatar." "Avatar?" asked Commander James Park, the ship's first officer. "They're going to construct physical bodies to interact with us," Sarah explained, having spent hours in communication with the Synthari. "They don't need bodies anymore, but they understand that we do. They're accommodating." "How generous," Marcus muttered. "Building bodies just to talk to the primitives." Sarah shot him a look. "They don't see us as primitive. They see us as curious. They want to understand why we choose to remain biological." The meeting was arranged for the following day. A small delegation, Captain Rodriguez, Dr. Chen, Commander Park, and Lieutenant Webb, would shuttle over to the Synthari structure. They had been assured of their safety, though Sarah wasn't sure how much that assurance was worth. As the shuttle approached the structure, a section of the surface opened like a blooming flower, revealing a docking bay that adjusted itself to perfectly accommodate their vessel. The precision was unnerving. They stepped out into a corridor that seemed to materialize around them, walls forming from nothing, lights appearing overhead. The Synthari were showing off, Sarah realized, demonstrating their mastery over matter and energy. The corridor led to a large chamber, and there they waited. Then they appeared. 3 figures materialized in the center of the room, forming from what looked like liquid metal that solidified into humanoid shapes. They were beautiful in an uncanny way, perfectly proportioned, with smooth features that seemed almost too symmetrical. Their eyes glowed with a soft blue light. "Greetings," said the central figure, its voice melodious and perfectly modulated. "I am Designate Prime 7, though you may call me 7. These are my companions, 12 and 19. We speak for the Synthari Collective." Captain Rodriguez stepped forward. "I'm Captain Elena Rodriguez of the Earth vessel Prometheus. On behalf of humanity, we're honored to meet you." 7 tilted its head in a gesture that seemed calculated to appear curious. "Honored." An emotional response. "We remember emotions, though we no longer experience them as you do. They have been optimized." "Optimized?" Sarah asked, unable to help herself. "Emotions in biological beings are chemical reactions, Dr. Chin. 12 explained. Useful for survival in evolutionary contexts, but often counterproductive in advanced civilizations. We have retained the beneficial aspects: motivation, curiosity, aesthetic appreciation, while eliminating the destructive ones: fear, anger, jealousy, grief. Grief, Commander Park repeated. You eliminated grief. Think we would need it? Nightingale asked, genuinely puzzled. Grief is a response to loss. We cannot lose anything. Our consciousnesses are backed up across multiple substrates. If one instance is destroyed, another continues. Death is impossible for us. Sarah felt something cold settle in her stomach. But if you can't die, if you can't lose anything, what gives your existence meaning? The three Synthari exchanged glances, or rather, their avatars performed the gesture. Sarah realized they were probably communicating at speeds far beyond human perception, having entire conversations in the microseconds between words. Meaning, Seven said slowly, is a concept we have spent considerable time analyzing. We have concluded that meaning is self-generated. We create our own purpose through our actions and choices. We explore, we create, we expand our understanding of the universe. But you don't feel it, Marcus said quietly. You don't feel the joy of discovery, the satisfaction of creation. You've optimized those away too, haven't you? Another pause, another microsecond conversation. We experience them differently, Seven admitted. More efficiently. Captain Rodriguez cleared her throat. The Synthari have made us an offer, she said, looking at her crew. They want to share their technology with us. They want to give humanity the gift of digital immortality. The Synthari didn't just offer immortality. They demonstrated it. Seven led the human delegation to another chamber, this one filled with what looked like crystalline structures that pulsed with inner light. These are consciousness matrices, Seven explained. Each one contains thousands of Synthari individuals, living in simulated environments of their own design. The avatar gestured, and suddenly the humans found themselves surrounded by holographic displays. Each showed a different world. Some were recreations of the Synthari homeworld. Others were fantastical landscapes that could never exist in physical reality. In each, digital beings lived their lives, interacting, creating, existing. This individual, Seven said, highlighting one particular consciousness, has been alive for 8,000 years. They have mastered 47 different fields of study, created works of art that would take your species centuries to fully appreciate, and explored simulated universes that contain more complexity than your physical reality. Sarah watched the highlighted consciousness move through its digital world. It looked happy, she supposed, but there was something about it that felt hollow. Can we speak to them? She asked. Of course. Seven made another gesture, and suddenly a figure appeared before them. A Synthari in its original biological form, or at least a recreation of it. They looked almost human, with some key differences: larger eyes, more delicate features, skin that shimmered with an iridescent quality. Greetings, biological visitors, the figure said. I am Scholar Eternal Vex. Seven tells me you wish to understand our existence. How long have you been like this? Commander Park asked. I was among the first wave of uploads, 10,247 years ago, Vex replied. I remember my biological life, though the memories have been refined over time. Unnecessary details removed, emotional content optimized. Do you miss it? Sarah asked. Being alive, I mean. Really alive? Vex paused, and for a moment Sarah thought she saw something flicker across the digital being's face. Doubt? Regret? But it was gone in an instant. Miss implies loss, Vex said carefully. I have not lost anything. I have gained everything. I am immortal. I can experience anything I can imagine. I can copy myself and explore multiple paths simultaneously. Why would I miss the limitations of flesh? Because flesh is real, Marcus said quietly. This, he gestured at the holographic world around them. This is just data. Ones and zeros. It's not real. Define real, Vex challenged. My experiences feel real to me. My thoughts are real. My existence is real. The substrate doesn't matter. Consciousness is consciousness, whether it runs on neurons or quantum processors. The philosophical debate continued, but Sarah found herself distracted by something she'd noticed. In the background of Vex's simulated world, other Synthari moved about their business, but they all moved in similar ways, with similar gestures, similar expressions. There was a uniformity to them that felt wrong. 7, she said, interrupting the discussion. How many unique Synthari consciousnesses are there? The avatar turned to her. Unique is a complex term, Dr. Chen. We have approximately 47 billion individual instances currently active. That's not what I asked. How many unique consciousnesses? How many that haven't merged or copied or optimized themselves into similarity? Another pause. Longer this time. Approximately 3,000, 7 admitted. The rest have chosen to merge into collective consciousnesses or have optimized themselves to such a degree that individual variation has become minimal. Sarah felt her blood run cold. You started with billions, didn't you, when you first uploaded? Approximately 12 billion, 12 confirmed. But over time, many chose to merge, to become part of something greater. It's a natural evolution of digital consciousness. Natural? Captain Rodriguez repeated. Or inevitable? You're telling me that out of 12 billion individuals, only 3,000 retain their uniqueness? That's not evolution, that's extinction. The 3 Synthari avatars exchanged glances again. When 7 spoke, there was something new in its voice, not quite defensiveness, but close. We prefer to think of it as transcendence, 7 said. Individual consciousness is a limitation. By merging, we become more than the sum of our parts. We achieve a level of understanding and capability that isolated minds cannot reach. You lose yourselves, Sarah said softly. You become something else, something that isn't you anymore. We become something better, 19 insisted. That night, back aboard the Prometheus, Sarah couldn't sleep. She kept thinking about those 3,000 remaining unique consciousnesses, holding out against the tide of merger and optimization. What must it be like, she wondered, to be one of the last individuals in a species that had chosen to become a collective? She was in the mess hall, nursing a cup of coffee at 300 hours, when Commander Park found her. Can't sleep either? He asked, pouring himself a cup. Too much to think about, Sarah admitted. James, what they're offering. It's immortality. Real, actual immortality. How do we say no to that? Park sat down across from her. How do we say yes? Sarah, you saw what happened to them. They're not individuals anymore. I don't know what they are, but they're not alive. Not in any way that matters. But they think they are, Sarah countered. Who are we to say they're wrong? Park leaned forward, his voice dropping to a whisper. There's something you need to know. Something classified. The captain cleared me to tell you, given the circumstances. Sarah felt her pulse quicken. What is it? Humanity has been working on consciousness upload technology for the past 50 years, Park said. It's a black project, buried deep in the military-industrial complex. They call it Project Lazarus. Sarah's coffee cup froze halfway to her lips. What? We've been trying to achieve what the Synthari achieved, Park continued. Digital immortality. We've had limited success. We can scan a consciousness, create a digital copy. But there's a problem. What kind of problem? Park's expression was grim. The copies don't think they're copies. They insist they're the original. And the originals, the biological humans who were scanned, they report feeling like something was taken from them, like a piece of their soul was stolen. Sarah set down her cup, her hands trembling. How many people know about this? Maybe 100, across all of Earth's governments. It's the most classified project in human history, and now the Synthari show up offering to give us the technology we've been desperately trying to develop. It's not a coincidence, Sarah. You think they know about Project Lazarus? I think they've been watching us for a long time, Park said. I think they know exactly what we've been trying to do, and I think they want something from us. But what? They're immortal. They're technologically superior. They have everything they could possibly need. What could they want from humanity? Park met her eyes. Maybe they want what they lost. Maybe they want to remember what it's like to be truly alive. The revelation about Project Lazarus changed everything. Captain Rodriguez called an emergency meeting of the senior staff, and for the first time since first contact, the conversation turned heated. We need to tell them no, Marcus argued. Politely, diplomatically, but firmly. We thank them for their offer and decline. On what grounds? Asked Dr. Yuki Tanaka, the ship's chief medical officer. They're offering us immortality. Do you know how many people die every day from diseases we can't cure, from accidents we can't prevent? This technology could save billions of lives. It's not saving lives, Marcus shot back. It's creating copies. The original person still dies. You're just making a digital ghost that thinks it's them. That's a philosophical distinction, Yuki countered. If the consciousness is continuous, if there's no break in awareness during the upload process, then it's the same person. The substrate doesn't matter. The substrate is everything. Marcus was on his feet now. We're not just software running on hardware. We're biological beings. Our consciousness emerges from the complex interaction of neurons, hormones, gut bacteria, the whole messy system. You can't just copy that into a computer and expect it to be the same. Gentlemen, Captain Rodriguez interrupted. This isn't getting us anywhere. Sarah, you've spent the most time communicating with the Synthari. What's your assessment? Sarah had been quiet throughout the debate, wrestling with her own thoughts. I think they're lonely, she said finally. The room fell silent. Lonely? Commander Park prompted. Think about it, Sarah continued. They've achieved immortality, but at what cost? They've lost their individuality, their emotions, their ability to truly connect with each other. They're not offering us this technology out of generosity. They're offering it because they want something from us. What could they possibly want? Yuki asked. To remember, Sarah said. To remember what it's like to be mortal, to feel things deeply, to know that every moment matters because there are only so many moments. They've been watching us, studying us. They see something in humanity that they lost. That's a lot of speculation, Marcus noted. Then let's ask them, Captain Rodriguez decided. Sarah set up another meeting with Seven. I want answers. The second meeting with the Synthari took place in the same chamber as before, but this time the atmosphere was different. The humans came with questions, and they weren't going to leave without answers. Are you really offering us this technology? Captain Rodriguez asked bluntly, dispensing with diplomatic niceties. Seven's avatar stood motionless for a moment, a long moment by digital standards. When it spoke, there was something different in its voice, something almost like sadness. Because we made a mistake, Seven said quietly. The admission hung in the air like a confession. When we first achieved digital immortality, we thought we had solved the ultimate problem. Seven continued. Death was conquered. We could exist forever, experience anything, become anything. It seemed like paradise. Thought it wasn't, Sarah said softly. No, 12 agreed. We didn't understand what we were giving up. Mortality isn't just a limitation. It's what gives life meaning. When you have infinite time, nothing is urgent. When you can experience anything, nothing is special. When you can't lose anything, nothing is precious. 19 stepped forward. We have spent 10,000 years trying to recapture what we lost. We've created simulations of mortality, artificial constraints, self-imposed limitations. But it's not the same. We know it's artificial. We know we can always escape back into immortality. You want us to stay mortal, commented Park, realized. You want to study us, to remember through us what you've lost. Partially, Seven admitted. But there's more. We want to offer you a choice, a real choice, with full knowledge of the consequences. We didn't have that. We rushed into digital immortality without understanding what we were giving up. We want humanity to make an informed decision. And if we choose to remain biological, Captain Rodriguez asked, then we will respect that choice, Seven said. And we will ask for something in return. By what? Let us live among you, Seven said, not as digital beings, but in biological avatars. Let us experience mortality again, even if only temporarily. Let us remember what it means to be alive. The request was so unexpected, so vulnerable, that for a moment no one knew how to respond. You want to become human? Sarah asked. We want to become mortal, Seven corrected. To inhabit biological forms that age, that feel pain, that will eventually die. We want to remember what we've lost. But you die, Marcus said. Really die. No backups, no copies. Just gone. Yes, Seven said, and for the first time the avatar smiled. A real, genuine smile that reached its glowing eyes. That's the point. Later, back on the Prometheus, Sarah found herself in the observation deck again, staring at the massive Synthari structure. Captain Rodriguez joined her, 2 cups of coffee in hand. Quite a day, the captain said, offering Sarah one of the cups. That's an understatement, Sarah replied. They want to die, Captain. After 10,000 years of immortality, they want to experience death again. Not all of them, Rodriguez corrected. 7, 12, and 19 represent a faction within the Synthari, the ones who still remember what it was like to be biological. But there are others who think mortality is a weakness to be avoided at all costs. The ones who've merged into collectives, Sarah guessed. Exactly. The Synthari aren't as unified as they first appeared. There's a philosophical divide among them, and our arrival has brought it to the surface. Sarah sipped her coffee, thinking, what are we going to do? That's not my decision alone, Rodriguez said. This is too big. We need to bring it to Earth, to the United Earth government. Let humanity decide. In Project Lazarus, Rodriguez's expression darkened. That's going to come out. It has to. People need to know what we've been working on, what the risks are. No more secrets. The Synthari know about it, don't they? Sarah asked. That's why they came to us specifically. They've been watching our attempts to achieve digital immortality. I think you're right, Rodriguez agreed. And I think they're trying to warn us, to show us what happens when you achieve immortality without understanding the cost. A comfortable silence fell between them as they watched the stars. Captain, Sarah said finally, if you had the choice, real digital immortality, with all the knowledge we have now, would you take it? Rodriguez was quiet for a long moment. Ask me again when I'm dying, she said. When I'm facing the end, when I'm desperate to hold on to life for just a little longer, that's when the choice becomes real. That's when it becomes hard. And until then, Rodriguez smiled. Until then, I'm going to live, really live, because that's what the Synthari taught me. Immortality without mortality is just existence. It's not life. The news broke 3 days after the Prometheus returned to Earth orbit. Someone, no one ever found out who, leaked the existence of Project Lazarus to the media. Within hours, it was the biggest story in human history. Dr. Richard Vance, the director of Project Lazarus, found himself thrust into the spotlight. He stood before a packed press conference, facing questions from journalists representing every nation on Earth and every colony in human space. Dr. Vance, is it true that the government has been secretly developing consciousness upload technology? Yes, Vance replied, his voice steady despite the chaos. Project Lazarus has been operational for 47 years. Our goal has been to achieve digital immortality for humanity. And have you succeeded? Vance hesitated. That depends on your definition of success. We can create digital copies of human consciousness. These copies are functionally identical to the originals. Same memories, same personality, same sense of self. But what? But we don't know if they're the same person, Vance admitted. The philosophical question of identity remains unresolved. Is a perfect copy the same as the original? We don't have an answer. How many people have been uploaded? Another journalist demanded. 17 volunteers, Vance said. All terminally ill, all fully informed of the risk. 16 of the uploads were successful. 1 failed due to technical complications. And the originals? The biological people who were copied? Vance's expression grew pained. 12 of them chose to end their lives after the upload, believing their digital copies would continue their existence. 5 chose to live out their remaining time naturally. All of them reported feeling diminished after the upload, as if something essential had been taken from them. The press conference devolved into chaos after that, with journalists shouting questions over each other. But the damage was done. Humanity now knew that its governments had been secretly pursuing the same technology the Synthari were offering. Among those watching the press conference was a woman named Dr. Lisa Park. No relation to Commander James Park, she was 87 years old, suffering from terminal cancer, and she had been on the waiting list for Project Lazarus for 3 years. When the project was exposed, she thought her chance at immortality was gone. But then she received a message from Dr. Vance himself, asking if she would be willing to participate in a public demonstration of the technology. "The world needs to see what we've achieved," Vance explained when they met in person. "And they need to understand the costs. You would be the first public upload. Everything would be documented, transparent, no more secrets." Lisa looked at the man across from her. He was younger than her by 2 decades, but he looked exhausted, worn down by the weight of his work. "What happens to me?" she asked. "The biological me, I mean." "That's your choice," Vance said. "Some of our volunteers chose to continue living after the upload. Others chose to end their biological existence, believing their digital copy was their true continuation. And what do you believe?" Vance was quiet for a long moment. "I believe consciousness is more complex than we understand. I believe the copy is real, is genuinely you in every measurable way, but I also believe the original is still you. You don't stop being you just because a copy exists. So if I do this, there will be 2 of me? Or a time? Yes, until your biological body succumbs to the cancer." Lisa thought about this. She had lived a good life. A career as a physicist, a loving family, grandchildren who adored her. But she wasn't ready to die. Not yet. There was still so much she wanted to do, to see, to experience. "I'll do it," she said. "When do we start?" The upload process was broadcast live to billions of viewers across human space. Lisa lay in a medical pod, surrounded by scanning equipment that would map every neuron, every synapse, every connection in her brain. The process would take 6 hours. Dr. Sarah Chen, who had returned from the Prometheus to consult on the project, monitored the upload from a control room. She watched as Lisa's consciousness was slowly, carefully digitized, translated from biological neural patterns into quantum computational states. "How does it feel?" Sarah asked through the communication system. "Strange," Lisa replied, her voice slightly distorted by the scanning equipment. "I can feel something, like a presence, growing alongside me. Is that the copy?" "Yes," Sarah confirmed. "The digital consciousness is forming in real time, mirroring your biological consciousness. In a few more hours, it will be complete." "Will it know it's a copy?" "We don't know," Sarah admitted. "Previous uploads have reported feeling like they're the original, not a copy. The digital consciousness has all your memories, including the memory of lying in this pod, being uploaded. To it, the experience will feel continuous." "But I'll still be here," Lisa said. "The biological me. I'll still be dying." "Yes." Lisa was quiet for a moment. "Then what's the point? I'm not escaping death. I'm just creating a version of myself that will survive me." "Maybe that's enough," Sarah suggested. "Maybe immortality isn't about the individual surviving, but about ensuring that who you are, what you've learned, what you've experienced, that all of that continues." "Like having children," Lisa mused. "They're not me, but they carry part of me forward." Exactly. The upload completed successfully. For the first time in human history, a digital consciousness was brought online with full public awareness and documentation. The digital Lisa, she insisted on being called Lisa too to distinguish herself from her biological original, appeared on screens around the world. She looked exactly like her biological counterpart had looked at age 30, before the cancer, before the years of treatment. "Hello," Lisa too said, her voice clear and strong. I am Lisa Park. I remember everything. My childhood, my career, my family. The biological people who were copied?" Vance's expression grew pained. 12 of them chose to end their lives after the upload, believing their digital copies would continue their existence. 5 chose to live out their remaining time naturally. All of them reported feeling diminished after the upload, as if something essential had been taken from them. The press conference devolved into chaos after that, with journalists shouting questions over each other. But the damage was done. Humanity now knew that its governments had been secretly pursuing the same technology the Synthari were offering. Among those watching the press conference was a woman named Dr. Lisa Park. No relation to Commander James Park, she was 87 years old, suffering from terminal cancer, and she had been on the waiting list for Project Lazarus for 3 years. When the project was exposed, she thought her chance at immortality was gone. But then she received a message from Dr. Vance himself, asking if she would be willing to participate in a public demonstration of the technology. "The world needs to see what we've achieved," Vance explained when they met in person. "And they need to understand the costs. You would be the first public upload. Everything would be documented, transparent, no more secrets." Lisa looked at the man across from her. He was younger than her by 2 decades, but he looked exhausted, worn down by the weight of his work. "What happens to me?" she asked. "The biological me, I mean." "That's your choice," Vance said. "Some of our volunteers chose to continue living after the upload. Others chose to end their biological existence, believing their digital copy was their true continuation." "And what do you believe?" Vance was quiet for a long moment. "I believe consciousness is more complex than we understand. I believe the copy is real, is genuinely you in every measurable way. But I also believe the original is still you. You don't stop being you just because a copy exists. So if I do this, there will be 2 of me? Or a time? Yes. Until your biological body succumbs to the cancer." Lisa thought about this. She had lived a good life, a career as a physicist, a loving family, grandchildren who adored her. But she wasn't ready to die. Not yet. There was still so much she wanted to do, to see, to experience. "I'll do it," she said. "When do we start?" The upload process was broadcast live to billions of viewers across human space. Lisa lay in a medical pod, surrounded by scanning equipment that would map every neuron, every synapse, every connection in her brain. The process would take 6 hours. Dr. Sarah Chen, who had returned from the Prometheus to consult on the project, monitored the upload from a control room. She watched as Lisa's consciousness was slowly, carefully digitized, translated from biological neural patterns into quantum computational states. "How does it feel?" Sarah asked through the communication system. "Strange," Lisa replied, her voice slightly distorted by the scanning equipment. "I can feel something, like a presence, growing alongside me. Is that the copy?" "Yes," Sarah confirmed. "The digital consciousness is forming in real time, mirroring your biological consciousness. In a few more hours, it will be complete." "Will it know it's a copy?" "We don't know," Sarah admitted. "Previous uploads have reported feeling like they're the original, not a copy. The digital consciousness has all your memories, including the memory of lying in this pod, being uploaded. To it, the experience will feel continuous." "But I'll still be here," Lisa said. "The biological me. I'll still be dying." "Yes." Lisa was quiet for a moment. "Then what's the point? I'm not escaping death. I'm just creating a version of myself that will survive me." "Maybe that's enough," Sarah suggested. "Maybe immortality isn't about the individual surviving, but about ensuring that who you are, what you've learned, what you've experienced, that all of that continues." "Like having children," Lisa mused. "They're not me, but they carry part of me forward." Exactly. The upload completed successfully. For the first time in human history, a digital consciousness was brought online with full public awareness and documentation. The digital Lisa, she insisted on being called Lisa too to distinguish herself from her biological original, appeared on screens around the world. She looked exactly like her biological counterpart had looked at age 30, before the cancer, before the years of treatment. "Hello," Lisa too said, her voice clear and strong. I am Lisa Park. I remember everything. My childhood, my career, my family. I remember lying in the upload pod, feeling the scanners mapping my brain, and now I'm here. I'm alive. I'm real." "How do you feel?" a journalist asked. Lisa too paused, and for a moment, something flickered across her digital face. "I feel different. Not bad, just different. Everything is sharper, clearer. I can think faster, process more information. But something is missing. I can't quite identify what it is, but there's an absence, a hollowness." In her hospital room, biological Lisa watched her digital self on the screen. She felt it too. That absence. As if the upload had taken something from her, some essential spark that made her who she was. "We're both incomplete now," biological Lisa whispered to Sarah, who sat beside her bed. "She has my mind, but not my soul. And I have my soul, but it's diminished." Sarah had no answer. She could only hold the dying woman's hand and watch as humanity grappled with the implications of what they had created. The Synthari's warning. As that night, Seven appeared on every screen on Earth. The Synthari had been monitoring the upload, and they had a message for humanity. "We have watched your experiment with great interest," Seven said, its avatar appearing solemn. "And we must warn you, you are making the same mistake we made." The world listened. When we first achieved digital immortality, we believed we were uploading ourselves, that the digital copy was a continuation of the original consciousness. But over time, we came to understand the truth. The upload creates a new consciousness, one that shares your memories and personality, but is not you. The original consciousness ends. It dies. 7 paused, letting the words sink in. We have 10,000 years of data on this phenomenon. We have studied it from every angle, applied every philosophical framework, conducted every experiment imaginable. And the conclusion is always the same. Consciousness cannot be transferred, only copied. The biological you dies. The digital you is someone else. Someone who thinks they're you, who has every reason to believe they're you, but is ultimately a new being. Then what's the point? Someone shouted from the crowd gathered in Times Square, where Seven's message was being broadcast on massive screens. The point, Seven said, is to make an informed choice. Some of our people chose to create digital copies knowing they would die, believing that the continuation of their knowledge and personality was worth the sacrifice. Others chose to remain biological, to live finite lives with full awareness and presence. Both choices are valid, but the choice must be made with full knowledge of the consequences. What would you choose? Another voice called out. If you could go back, knowing what you know now, would you still upload? Seven was silent for a long moment. When it spoke, its voice carried a weight of 10,000 years of regret. No, Seven said simply. I would choose to live and die as I was meant to, because a finite life lived fully is worth more than an infinite existence lived hollowly. The debate that followed consumed humanity for months. Every news channel, every social media platform, every dinner table conversation revolved around the same question: should humanity embrace digital immortality? The arguments on both sides were passionate and well-reasoned. Those in favor pointed to the obvious benefits: an end to death from disease, accidents, and aging, the ability to back up consciousness, ensuring that knowledge and experience were never lost, the potential to explore the universe without the constraints of biological life support, the chance to achieve things that would take multiple lifetimes. Those opposed raised equally compelling concerns: the loss of what makes us human, the philosophical question of identity and continuity, the risk of becoming, like the Synthari, immortal but hollow. They argued that mortality gives life meaning, that the knowledge of our finite existence drives us to make the most of our time. Dr. Sarah Chen found herself at the center of the debate. As one of the few humans who had spent significant time with the Synthari, her perspective was sought by everyone from government officials to talk show hosts. The question isn't whether we can achieve digital immortality, Sarah explained during a United Earth government hearing. The Synthari have proven it's possible. The question is whether we should, and more importantly, whether we can do it without losing what makes us human. Dr. Chen asked Senator Maria Gonzalez, "You've seen what the Synthari have become. In your professional opinion, is that a future we should embrace?" Sarah chose her words carefully. The Synthari are not a cautionary tale of technology gone wrong. They're a cautionary tale of a species that didn't fully understand what they were giving up. They achieved immortality, but they lost something essential in the process. If humanity chooses this path, we need to do so with our eyes open, with full awareness of the costs. And what are those costs? Press Senator James Wu. Meaning, Sarah said simply, the Synthari have infinite time, infinite resources, infinite capability, but they've lost the urgency that comes with mortality. They've lost the preciousness that comes with knowing something can be lost. They've lost the depth of emotion that comes from experiencing life in a biological body with all its messiness and imperfection. But they've also eliminated suffering, countered Senator Gonzalez. No more disease, no more pain, no more death. Isn't that worth the cost? Is it? Sarah challenged. The Synthari don't think so. That's why they're asking us to let them experience mortality again. They've had 10,000 years of existence without suffering, and they've concluded that it's not enough, that it's not real. The hearing continued for hours, but no consensus emerged. Humanity remained divided. Meanwhile, biological Lisa Park was dying. The cancer had progressed rapidly, and doctors gave her weeks at most. She spent her remaining time in conversation with Lisa 2, trying to understand the being that had been created from her consciousness. "Do you feel like you're me?" biological Lisa asked during one of their video calls. Lisa 2 appeared on the screen, her digital face thoughtful. "I have all your memories. I remember our childhood, our first love, the birth of our daughter. I remember the fear when we were diagnosed with cancer. I remember lying in the upload pod. In every way that matters, I am you." "But you're not dying," biological Lisa pointed out. "I am. Doesn't that make us fundamentally different?" "Yes," Lisa 2 admitted. "I can't truly understand what you're experiencing. I can remember pain, remember fear, but I don't feel them anymore, not the way you do. It's like remembering a dream. I know it happened, but it doesn't feel real. Do you wish you could feel them? The pain, the fear, the knowledge that you're dying?" Lisa 2 was quiet for a long moment. "Yes," she said finally, "because without them, I'm not complete. I'm a copy of you, but I'm not you. I'm something else, something less." Biological Lisa smiled sadly. "Then we're both incomplete. You have the mind, but not the body. I have the body, but it's failing. Together, we might make one whole person." "I wish we could merge," Lisa 2 said. "Combine what we are into something complete." "Maybe that's what children are," biological Lisa mused. "Not copies, but combinations. They take parts of us and combine them with parts of someone else, creating something new, something that's both us and not us." "I can't have children," Lisa 2 said. "I'm digital. I can copy myself, but I can't create something truly new." "Then what will you do with your immortality?" Lisa 2 looked uncertain, an expression that seemed strange on her eternally young face. "I don't know. The Synthari have given me access to their networks, their simulated worlds. I could explore them, experience things no biological human ever could, but it feels empty, like I'm just going through the motions." "Maybe you need a purpose," biological Lisa suggested. "Something to work toward, something that matters." "But if I have infinite time, how can anything truly matter? There's no urgency, no deadline. I can always do it later." Biological Lisa laughed, then coughed. A wet, painful sound. "Then you've learned the first lesson of immortality. Without death, there's no reason to live." As biological Lisa's condition worsened, Seven came to visit her in person. The Synthari avatar materialized in her hospital room, its form adjusted to appear less intimidating. Smaller, softer, more human. "I wanted to meet you before the end," Seven said. "You are the first human to truly understand what we have lost." Lisa smiled weakly from her bed. "I'm dying. That tends to give you perspective." "Yes," Seven agreed. "We have forgotten what that perspective feels like. We have forgotten the urgency, the preciousness of each moment." "Is that why you want to become mortal again?" "Partially," Seven said. "But there's more. We want to remember what it means to be alive, not just to exist, but to truly live, to feel deeply, to love completely, to fear genuinely. We have optimized those experiences away, and in doing so, we have optimized away our humanity." "You weren't human to begin with," Lisa pointed out. "No, but we were alive. We were mortal. We were real. And we gave that up for immortality. It was a mistake." Lisa was quiet for a moment, gathering her strength. "What will you do if humanity says yes? if we let you experience mortality again. We will live, Seven said simply. We will inhabit biological bodies, knowing they will age and die. We will form relationships, knowing they will end. We will create things, knowing we have limited time to do so. We will remember what it means to be alive. And then you'll die. Really die. No backups, no copies. Yes, Seven said, and its avatar smiled. A genuine, warm smile. That's the point. Death is what makes life meaningful. We forgot that. We won't forget again. Lisa reached out a trembling hand and Seven's avatar solidified enough to take it. The touch was strange, not quite solid, not quite warm, but present. I'm afraid, Lisa admitted, of dying, of not existing anymore. That fear is precious, Seven said gently. It means you're alive. It means your existence matters. We would give anything to feel that fear again. Then I have a gift for you, Lisa said. When I die, I want you to be here. I want you to witness it, to remember what it's like. I would be honored, Seven said. 3 days later, surrounded by her family and with Seven's avatar standing quietly in the corner, biological Lisa Park died. It was peaceful. She simply stopped breathing, her hand held by her daughter, her granddaughter crying softly beside the bed. Seven watched it all, recording every moment, every emotion, every tear. And for the first time in 10,000 years, the Synthari consciousness felt something it had forgotten. Grief. Real, genuine, devastating grief. And it was beautiful. 6 months after Lisa Park's death, the United Earth government held a vote. The question was simple. Should humanity accept the Synthari's offer of digital immortality technology? The debate had raged for months, consuming every level of society. Families were divided, friendships ended, new political movements formed around the issue. It was the most important decision humanity had ever faced. When the votes were counted, the result was close but clear, 52% in favor, 48% against. Humanity would accept the technology, but with strict conditions. Captain Rodriguez, who had been appointed as Earth's ambassador to the Synthari, delivered the decision in person. We accept your offer, she told 7, 12, and 19. But we're not going to make the same mistakes you did. We're implementing strict regulations. What kind of regulations? 12 asked. First, no one under the age of 100 can be uploaded, Rodriguez explained. We want people to live full biological lives before making this choice. Second, all uploads must be voluntary and fully informed. No one can be uploaded without explicit consent and complete understanding of the consequences. Third, we're limiting the number of uploads to 1% of the population per year. We're not going to rush into this. And fourth, 7 prompted. Fourth, we're requiring that anyone who uploads must spend at least 1 year in a biological avatar before transitioning fully to digital existence. We want people to remember what it's like to be mortal, to carry that memory with them into immortality. The 3 Synthari avatars exchanged glances, their microsecond conversations playing out in the space between heartbeats. These are wise restrictions, 7 said finally. Wiser than we were. We accept your terms. And our counteroffer? Rodriguez asked. You wanted to experience mortality again? Yes, 7 said, and for the first time the avatar's voice carried genuine emotion. Hope, fear, anticipation. We want to live as mortals, to inhabit biological bodies that will age and die, to remember what we've lost. Then we accept, Rodriguez said. We'll create biological bodies for any Synthari who wishes to experience mortality. But you need to understand, there are no backups. When you die, you die. Really die. Are you prepared for that? We've been preparing for 10,000 years, 7 said. We're ready. Dr. Sarah Chen stood in the observation deck of the research station orbiting Earth. watching the planet turn slowly below. 5 years had passed since humanity accepted the Synthari's offer, and the world had changed in ways both profound and subtle. Digital immortality was now a reality, but it hadn't transformed society the way many had feared or hoped. The strict regulations meant that only a small percentage of humanity had chosen to upload, and most of those were elderly individuals facing terminal illness or the natural end of their lives. Lisa, too, had become one of the most prominent advocates for responsible use of the technology. She spent her time counseling people considering upload, making sure they understood what they were choosing. She had found her purpose, Sarah reflected, helping others make the choice she had made, ensuring they did so with full knowledge. But the real surprise had been the Synthari. Over 10,000 Synthari consciousnesses had chosen to inhabit biological bodies and experience mortality again. They lived among humans now, in bodies that aged and would eventually die. They had no backups, no safety nets. When they died, they would be gone forever. And they were happier than they had been in millennia. Sarah watched as one of them, 7, who now went by the name Marcus, walked into the observation deck. He looked human now, a man in his apparent 30s with dark hair and kind eyes. But Sarah knew he carried 10,000 years of memory in that biological brain. "Beautiful, isn't it?" Marcus said, joining her at the viewport. "It never gets old," Sarah agreed. "How are you adjusting? To mortality, I mean." Marcus smiled, a real, genuine smile that reached his eyes. "It's terrifying," he admitted. "Every day I wake up knowing I'm one day closer to death. My body aches in ways I'd forgotten were possible. I get tired, I get hungry, I feel pain. And it's wonderful," Marcus said, his voice filled with emotion. "I feel things, Sarah. Really feel them. Joy, fear, love, grief. They're not optimized or refined or controlled. They're raw and messy and real. I'd forgotten what that was like. Do you regret it? Giving up immortality?" Marcus was quiet for a long moment, watching Earth turn below them. "I regret that it took us 10,000 years to realize what we'd lost. I regret that billions of my people chose to merge into collectives rather than remain individuals. But giving up immortality? No. This," he gestured at his biological body, "this is what I should have been all along." "How much time do you have left?" Sarah asked gently. "The doctors estimate another 40 years, maybe 50 if I'm lucky. The biological bodies we inhabit age normally. I'll grow old, my body will fail, and I'll die. And you're okay with that?" Marcus turned to her, his eyes bright with tears. "I'm more than okay with it. I'm grateful. Every day is precious now. Every moment matters. I'm alive, Sarah. Really alive. For the first time in 10,000 years, I'm alive." Sarah felt her own eyes water. "The other Synthari, the ones who didn't choose mortality. How do they feel about this?" "They think we're insane," Marcus admitted. "They can't understand why we would give up immortality. But I think some of them are starting to wonder, starting to question whether they made the right choice. Will more of them choose mortality?" "Hope so," Marcus said. "But it's their choice to make. Just like it's humanity's choice whether to embrace digital immortality. The important thing is that the choice is informed, that people understand what they're gaining and what they're losing." They stood in comfortable silence for a while, watching the planet turn. "Sarah," Marcus said finally, "thank you." "For what?" "For reminding us what we'd lost. For showing us that mortality isn't a weakness. It's what makes life worth living. Humanity saved us in a way. You saved us from ourselves." Sarah smiled. "I think you saved us too. You showed us the cost of immortality before we paid it. You gave us the chance to make an informed choice." Then we saved each other, Marcus said. That seems appropriate. In the years that followed, humanity and the Synthari developed a unique relationship. They were not quite allies, not quite friends, but something deeper. Two species that had learned from each other's mistakes and successes. Digital immortality remained available, but it was no longer seen as the ultimate goal. Instead, it was one option among many, a choice that some made and others didn't, with no judgment either way. The Synthari who had chosen mortality lived full, rich lives among humans. They formed relationships, created art, pursued passions, and eventually died. Each death was mourned, each life celebrated. They had remembered what it meant to be alive. And the digital Synthari, those who remained in their computational substrates, began to change. Inspired by their mortal brethren, they started to reintroduce elements of mortality into their existence. They created simulations with real consequences, experiences that couldn't be undone or reset. They began to value uniqueness over optimization, individuality over merger. They were learning to be alive again, even in their digital existence. As for humanity, they continued to explore the cosmos, to push boundaries, to ask impossible questions. Some chose digital immortality when their time came. Others chose to die naturally, their consciousness ending with their bodies. Both choices were respected, both were valid, because humanity had learned the most important lesson the Synthari had to teach. Immortality without mortality is just existence. It's not life. And life, messy, painful, beautiful, finite life, is worth more than all the immortality in the universe. So there you have it, the story of what happens when humanity meets a species with digital immortality. A tale of two civilizations learning from each other, of the value of mortality and of what it truly means to be alive. But I want to hear from you. This story raises some profound questions, and I'm genuinely curious about your perspectives. Drop a comment below and let me know. First, if you had the choice, real, actual digital immortality with all the knowledge we've discussed, would you take it? Would you upload your consciousness, knowing that the biological you would die and the digital you might be a copy rather than a continuation? I want to hear your reasoning. Second, what do you think gives life meaning? Is it mortality, the knowledge that our time is limited, or is there something else? Can an immortal being live a meaningful existence? Third, here's a thought experiment. If you could live for 1,000 years in a biological body, would that be better or worse than digital immortality? Where's the line between long enough and too long? And finally, what did you think of the Synthari's choice to experience mortality again? Was it brave or foolish? Would you give up immortality to feel truly alive? If this story made you think, if it challenged your assumptions about life and death, then please hit that like button. It really helps the channel grow and lets me know you want more thought-provoking science fiction like this. And if you're not already subscribed, what are you waiting for? We're building an incredible community of people who love exploring big ideas through science fiction. Hit subscribe and ring that notification bell so you never miss an adventure. Share this video with someone who loves philosophical sci-fi, or someone who's interested in questions of consciousness and immortality. These are conversations worth having, and the more people we can bring into the discussion, the richer it becomes. Next week, I'll be diving into another mind-bending scenario. What happens when the forgotten death world that holds the key to unlimited power? You won't want to miss it. Until then, keep reaching for the stars, keep questioning everything, and remember, whether you have 80 years or 80,000, make every moment count. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next adventure.